Hi everybody, welcome back to day 5 of my Viewer's Choice Thrift Challenge. This week here on my channel, I have been posting 4 options a day on Instagram for challenges that were submitted to me by my Instagram audience about a week ago. So I'm picking 4 each day that were submitted, posting them in the morning, and then people are voting on them, and then the challenge that wins, I execute during the day. This morning I had a bunch of things to ship out from my Whatnot sale, so there was a little bit more time for people to choose. Number 1 was Stranger Things inspired items, and that ended up with 25%. Buy, sell, trade finds was 24% of the votes. Can't buy more than 7 items got 11% of the votes, and an overwhelmingly win for today was $50 profit on non-clothing items. So specifically, it was shoes, a kitchen item, and a houseware item. Stranger Things had 114 votes, Buy, Sell, Trade had 111, 7 items, 53 votes, and then 185 votes for me to pick up 3 items that would profit $50 or more. I kind of knew that this was going to win, and I also knew that this was going to be quite a challenge for me. The reason I titled this video, Google It, is because when I'm in a thrift store and I am in a section that I'm unfamiliar with, I am heavily reliant on Google. I'm reliant on eBay comps, Poshmark comps, Google Lens, Etsy. I research as much as I possibly can when I am in a section of the thrift store that I'm unfamiliar with. I don't have to run comps on every single item that I get that is thrifted clothing because that is my specialty. And in a lot of cases, I know familiar brands, familiar styles that I'm pretty confident will bring me a return. I was totally out of my element today. So that's why throughout this entire video, you're gonna see me basically Googling everything in order to get some information. This is probably one of the most asked questions of me in my DMs on my YouTube channel. People will say, oh, Lori, I'm at the thrift store right now. This is a brand I'm unfamiliar with. Do you know what this goes for? And I always want to just say, Google it. Sometimes you can't find something that quickly and it takes a little bit more time, but it's a great starting place. And let's jump into the video and we will see some of the things that I found, what the comps were, and how this day played out for me. Jay wants to take me to this local consignment store. It's new, this old mill building. I used to take Bikram yoga here years ago and they've renovated it. So we're gonna check this place out. We're trying to find this place. It's a huge old mill. Does that open? Oh, it's like a secret door. Oh my gosh, so cool. Oh, there it is. There's a store. Look at all the Lego stuff. All right, I'm looking for something that will profit $50. Naturally go right to clothes. It can't be clothes, but it can be shoes. Coming up is a pair of Adidas that I don't check the price on, nor do I check the comps on while I'm in the store, and I called the store afterwards. These were just $20 in the store, and I am going to show you what the comps are. $140 sold on Poshmark and on eBay also. That was a miss. She's discontinued. So many cool things here. Look at the Kool-Aid guy. Of course, I'm not doing anything for the challenge, but I'm really having fun looking around this place. All right, I have a long day ahead of me and I have not picked up 1 item, so we are going to shift gears. How cool is that Wendy sign? We are going to shift gears and head to Savers and really start this hunt. You're going to see that the prices here on the shoes are relatively high on some of the ones that I'm looking at. I've been particularly interested in New Balance. These are the 311s. The comps did not look like they were going to bring me anywhere near a $50 return at quick glance, so I'm moving on. These are some nice Johnston & Murphy boots. It looks like these comps are a little bit inconsistent. While some of them look like they could have been a profit of $50 or more, the buy cost is over $20 and the comps are inconsistent, so I choose to leave those behind. This is a new to me brand, and I decide, of course, to look this up. The boots are in actually really nice condition. Frank Wright is the name, but the comps will not give me a $50 return. Finally, I see some Allen Edmonds, and this is a familiar brand to me. I've never purchased Allen Edmonds, but I've heard great things about them, and they're only $9.99. That little soft, cushy thing in there peeled right out for me. It's quite a range on the comps for these shoes, but I'm really hoping that I'll be able to land with that $50 profit or very close to it. All right, I found this trunk, and it looks pretty interesting just because of the name here. And I'm looking at all the corners. It appears to be in good shape. So $2.99, certainly the price is right. I don't know anything about this, but I thought it was worth looking up. My only concern is that I cannot open. Oh, there we go. This comes right off, and you can look inside. It's in really good condition. Let's go ahead and look at some comps on this. I was completely intrigued by this chest, mostly because of the sign on the front of it, the name, Seward, S-E-W-A-R-D. It just looked interesting to me, and I say this all the time. I think you have to have a high level of curiosity when it comes to reselling in order to see clues that are going to push you to investigate a little bit more. Now, if this trunk did not have that name on the front, I would have walked right by it, for better or for worse. That is what prompted me to look, and I'm really glad that I did. Here are some of the comps that I saw, sold comps on eBay. $50.99, $142. What else did I see here? 81, 117.87, 102, 90 for this green trunk, 103, $22, this is going by quickly, $99, and $115 for the purple, $133 for the blue. You get the idea. I was floored. I was so floored. Now, I don't know if this particular one that I found is from the 1930s. I did put it in my trunk, and it was only, I didn't put it in my trunk, I put it in my cart. I put it in my cart to purchase. It was only $2.99. I did have a $20% off coupon for Savers, so I would say that this definitely qualified for a $50 profit. The thing of it is, I ended up not purchasing this. I only purchased one of the 3 items to actually sell on my own, and that was the shoes that I mentioned earlier, the Allen Edmonds shoes. This was just a very bulky item. This is why I'm not a huge fan of hard goods. I didn't want to ship this trunk. I didn't want to store this trunk, but it was absolutely worth it. This challenge was also good for me because it really made me realize that my heart is really with fashion and clothing. I do like plush. I like tinkering around with some of these other categories, but for me, I just really enjoy fashion and clothing. To some people, it's a nightmare to have to look at clothing for stains and holes and damage, and then have to measure things, have them cleaned, photograph them, get every little detail, have to know the brand, the fabric content. There is a lot of work that goes into clothing reselling. There are definitely different skill sets and different challenges with all the different categories. But I thought this was really fun. I would have never, ever, ever looked at this steam trunk if it weren't for this challenge. I thought this was really interesting. Definitely be on the lookout for these Seward trunks. Would you have picked it up? I had it. I walked around the store. I was walking towards the register, and this woman was in back of me, and I turned around. She's like, "Are you getting out of line?" I said, "Yes, I am." She's like, "Are you sure?" I said, "I'm sure. I'm going to put back a couple things." And I ended up putting back the stuff that, even though they met the requirements for the challenge, I knew that I personally didn't want to sell them. So I ended up bringing these back. But this trunk was probably my best find of the day from a profit standpoint. These men's jeans were in the women's section for just $5.79 for these Austin 7 for All Mankind and these True Religions. Really good shape. I think I'm gonna pass on these because they're 9, but I'm gonna grab these just based on the comps. Now I need something for the kitchen to complete the challenge. Okay, it would be really great to find like a Le Creuset pan or something like that to finish this challenge. This is so funny. I never shop over here. These are all what I would consider kitchen. Oh, look at this little Mickey. My mom's a cake decorator, so I always love to see the cool pans. Does this have a date on it? Made in Korea. This is definitely vintage. I might grab that. Maybe that could be worth something. Well, I think that some of these comps were pretty decent, and this probably would have been, you know, like a $20, $25 return. It wasn't that $50 point, so I decided to actually leave this behind. So many times when I see the Afghans, they're pilly or they're expensive, and this is neither. This might be a nice thing. Maybe I could do this on Whatnot. Excuse me. See, this is what I typically notice. Lots of pilling, lots of wear. This one's beautiful. Looks like brand new. One of these days, I'm going to find my dream Pendleton blanket. So when it comes to Afghans, the comps are truly all over the place. So I really couldn't rely on any of these comps for a $50 return guaranteed. But I did end up picking up the green Afghan, and I am going to auction it off on Whatnot. I think that will be a fun piece to auction, considering that my buy cost was just $5 plus 20% off. This was a really pretty Ralph Lauren blanket that I thought about purchasing. It was priced at $7.99, but I ended up putting it back, looking at some quilts that I have no idea about. I didn't run comps on this one because there was excessive pilling on the back side of the quilt. Maybe that doesn't make a difference. Maybe I should have looked anyway. If you are a quilt expert, I would love to hear from you. Would you have picked this up for $4.99? Would this have been a $50 profit? I didn't take the time to look at this one. So many coffee pots. Do you guys remember the baby cakes phase? I had one of these. I think I'm going to look up the comps on this one. So when it came to the pasta maker, the Pasta Express, I did find a comp that was sold May 12th of 2022 on eBay for a similar one that sold for $100 with free shipping. This thing weighed so much. Even though it was only $8.99, it was not new in box, and I would not offer free shipping. There is potential to make $50 on this if there are all of the parts that are included. There are different pieces like the extruders or the owner's manual, the corkscrew thing. They're all different parts that potentially you could break down and sell individually, but I didn't think it was worth it. Not for me. I saw this vintage Mickey Mouse tablecloth for $1.99, and I was thinking about buying this with the cake pan. I ended up putting the cake pan back and taking this home just because I thought it would be easy to list. Now, false craft pieces, I have no idea. I know that some are worth some money, but I had generally heard that they weren't worth a lot. So when I ran the comps on a false craft cookie jar, this particular one, it looks like would go for about $20. There are some rare ones that go for a lot of money, but that certainly wasn't the piece for me. This is a Chima child's alarm clock for $6.99. Rocco used to love the Chima line from Lego, but I don't think this is worth much. One of the things that I initially thought was going to bring me a $50 return and didn't really realize that I potentially could be wrong until I got home were these Dansk Pajaro ceramic pieces. So I looked at them and I thought I liked the style of them, and I saw that they were $6.99 for the set. We had 2 mugs, 2 bowls, 2 salad plates, and 2 dinner plates, so 8 pieces. And when I looked quickly on eBay, I saw that somebody was selling a cereal bowl for $15, the dinner plate for $18, the bowls again for $13.98, and so on. Some people were selling a set of the mugs for $23. So I thought this could easily be broken apart and sold, and I would make a $50 profit. So can you guess what my mistake was? I didn't look at sold comps. I looked at what the selling price was, and I just quickly made a decision. I think this is gonna work for me. I came home and did the same search when I was getting ready to edit this, but when I tried to look at sold comps, there weren't any that I could find on eBay or on Etsy. So I don't know if this is a newer pattern from Dansk, but I could not find any sold comps. So just because those items were listed at a price point which would easily bring me a $50 return on 8 pieces if I sold them individually, or if I sold like 2 for $20, I would make my money back. But there is no guarantee with that. I feel like I could make $50 on this, but I can't say for sure that I would, which is why looking at sold comps are very important. I jumped the gun seeing what people were selling them for and thought, oh, this is a no-brainer, I'll be able to do this, and didn't go that next step and actually look at what they were selling for. But I think that's a good way to end this video, because I do think it's so important to know what you're looking at, to cover all your bases when you're shopping for something that you're not super familiar with. The Allen Edmonds, I was pretty comfortable with that. I recognized the name. My good friend Amber Resells talks about this brand a lot, and so the second I saw the brand, it sparked something. When I'm looking at hard goods and housewares, I don't really have a point of reference necessarily, because that's not content that I consume a lot. So I made an assumption on these Dansk pieces. I actually left those as well. I was really good about not taking home things that I wasn't absolutely certain of, but I felt pretty good about those, but I don't like to ship breakable. So I did leave those behind. I took the Allen Edmonds home. I took home the True Religion jeans, as well as the 7 for All Mankind jeans for men, even though that wasn't part of this challenge. It's so hard for me to go over to a clothing section and know it's profitable and leave it behind when it's only $5 to purchase. So I did come home with those. The trunk would have definitely brought a great return. So the moral of the story is, well, comps aren't the end all be all. They are very, very valuable for a reseller. And when you're unsure of a certain part of the thrift store, whether it's hard goods or jewelry or glassware or clothing, whatever you're not good at, you're best off running comps to learn what is going to bring you a profit. This isn't rocket science, but it really does take some discipline to look up those comps. And I'm even doing a challenge about looking up comps, and I still didn't look up the sold comps on those sneakers or those Dansk plates, and those sneakers would have been a really good buy for me. So that's all for today. I hope you found this information valuable. If you enjoyed this video or you learned anything from it, please give it a thumbs up, and remember to subscribe to my channel. I have 1 day left for the challenge. I'm excited to see how I end this week. It's been such a ride and so much fun. It's been very intense. The pace has been fast. It's been really fun to kind of execute some of the challenges that my audience wanted to see. Thank you guys so much for joining me on today's video. Be sure to like and subscribe and check out the playlist if you missed any of the other videos that I've done so far. I'll be back tomorrow with our final video. Thanks everybody. Bye.